Welcome to Unbelievably Talented, the talent show where you need to spot the truly talented from the truly unbelievable. I'm Daniel.
I'm Kirsty. Welcome to the Festival of Tomorrow. And now we've got hundreds of you taking part from across England and further afield. And I'm sure your classrooms are full of creative people. Daniel, I'm pretty creative myself. I can tap dance and I can play the guitar.
Kirsty, I'm creative too. I love a bit of laser cutting and I can't stop redecorating my flat.
Well, what about you? What are your favourite ways to be creative? Well, you've been sharing some of your talents with us on our Mentimeter. So lots of you have been sharing your talents with us. And to get to this question, you need to go to menti.com and use the code 62330690 and type in the code on the screen. So go to menti.com and type in the code and you will get our question. We want to hear how you are creative. Now, Daniel, we've got some submissions in already.
Yes, so we're going to give you another minute to get onto the website because I can see quite a few of you have just arrived on the live stream, so don't worry, you can still head on there. So yeah, you're going to head to menti.com and you're going to type in the code at the bottom of the screen. Now the good news is this website is going to work whether you're on a laptop, a Chromebook, an iPad, another kind of tablet, a phone. It doesn't matter.
All of them.
You can take part by heading onto the website. So I can see, Kirsten, we've got some answers coming in. I can see Craig has said that writing is his favorite way of being creative. What
Yeah.
else have we had? I think there's some new ones just coming. Yes, we've got lots coming in
Yes.
very suddenly.
We've got some people here that are good at playing football, Daniel. That's not a skill that you or I have, I don't think.
I can see that Lily Mae and Francesca in Swindon they can play the ukulele, musical
Oh,
instrument. That's a very good creative skill to have.
yes. We've actually had a few submissions, Daniel, that are saying that they're good at drawing and painting and as well, which is maybe going to come in quite handy for this session.
Yes, I can see singing and crafting. Drove Primary School, painting again. Painting's very popular, Kirsty.
That's a good one. We have Neve, Maisie, Sophie, and Casey. They can all play the guitar and draw realistic dogs. We're good at art. That's good.
Fantastic. So we're going to be asking you lots of questions in the session today. And if you want a shout out, if you want us to read out your answer, you should tell us your name and you should tell us the name of your school. So just your first name and the name of your school, and then we can give you a shout out. So we're going to give you one last shout out and then we're going to move on for the moment. So I can see that Emily, Mila, and Ria, your favorite activities to be creative are maths, horse racing, and art. Just do you know, art might be a surprising one, but actually there is a lot of sort of pretty pictures you can create with maths. I'm thinking you can create these tiling patterns. There's loads of really interesting art in the Middle East that's very based on maths. So I'm really
Maths.
glad that you said that.
So, Daniel, shall we meet our contestants for our show today? Now, these are our creative people who have contributed to our show. So, we have artists, we have illustrators, costume designers, and comedians. And you'll get to see some of the creative things that they've made. But this is a show with a twist. We've asked some of our contestants to use generative AI apps.
Yes, so generative AI apps are creative tools that can help you make all sorts of things. Now, it's called generative because it generates something new. So, Kirsty, I've always wished that I was a really talented painter. So, I tried playing around with DALI, and it is one of the most popular generative AI apps. So, Kirsty, I want you to tell me what you think of this. This is the first thing I created with DALI. What do you think of this?
That looks like a silly goose, Daniel.
Yeah. Okay. This was just my first try. But what I learned is that if I get much better at writing my prompts, so that's the instructions that I give the system, I can get a much better picture. I can create something that's way more realistic. So have a look at this. So I use the same tool again, but I give it this prompt. So the prompt is the instruction that you give it. It's the description of what you want it to generate. So I told it that I wanted a small sailboat made of origami paper floating towards a Scottish island. Now, before I show you this, I want you to imagine what a sailboat made of paper would look like. Imagine it's been folded up like origami. And I want you to imagine that floating on a big body of water towards a Scottish island. What might that picture look like? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
let's take a look. There you go.
Oh,
That's a lot better than the goose, isn't it, Kirsty?
it is much better than the goose. I'm actually, quite surprised that that's how it was going to interpret. That's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I was really impressed with this one. I think it did a much better job. I think it has fitted the prompt. That looks like a boat. It looks like it's made of paper. That island. Now, I'm based in Glasgow. I've seen islands that look like this off the west coast. So
Yes.
yeah.
No, it's definitely done a good job at that, I think, Daniel. It looks good to me. Well, I had a go as well. So I had another prompt, and this was what I typed in. So I asked for a telephoto shot superhero pushing a wheelie bin, Glasgow. And again, imagine what that image might look like if you were to describe it and think about it in your head. What might a superhero pushing a wheelie bin in Glasgow with that telephoto shot look like? So here is the result.
That's a good picture, Kirsty.
Yeah, check that out, Daniel. That looks pretty good to me. What do you think? Do you think it's interpreted the key parts of that prompt quite well? You know, you can see it does actually look like Glasgow. It's got the sort of coloured buildings that we have here in the hills. It's also got the, you know, the superhero there pushing the wheelie bin, and it's got that sort of telephoto shot, so it looks as if, you know, the camera has sort of zoomed in on the person to make the backgrounds look a little bit bigger. So it's interpreted the parts of that prompt really well.
Yeah, I agree, Kirsty. I think that's a really good picture. And you know what? That does look just like Glasgow.
So do you think you could tell the difference between something created by a human and art created with AI like these ones? So we have a question on your screen now. Do you think you could tell when an image has been made using AI? So submit your answers on our Mentimeter just now. Let's see what
Yes.
you feel.
So, Kirsty, I can see 10 people have already answered this question. We're going to give you 30 seconds. So, do you think it's going to be hard to tell when images have been generated using AI? Or do you think it's going to be easy? Are you ready? Are you ready for us to bring it on? Or maybe you're somewhere in the middle. You can tell us now by answering the question. And if you're not
Hmm.
already on Mentimeter, at the top of the screen, every time we have a question for you, we're going to give you a reminder of how to get onto the page. So you need to go to menti.com and it's going to ask you for a number. And the number you have to type in is at the top of the screen. It is 62330690.
Let's see how confident people feel about being able to spot AI in images, Daniel. It's a tricky one.
It
Let's
is.
see.
Shall we reveal the answers?
I'm excited to find out. Yeah. Okay.
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 Okay. I think people are feeling quietly confident here. Some people are maybe a bit unsure, but 8 of you have said easy, bring it on. Now, I know that some of the teachers are answering this on behalf of the whole class. So, do you
Hmm.
know what? Yeah, I think that's interesting. No one's saying it's going to be hard to tell. So a lot of people are in the middle, but a lot of you are feeling confident. I think let's channel that confidence and use
Yeah.
that to give some really good answers when we're thinking about the questions today. I can see a lot of you are smashing the like button as well. Every time you click that, the thumbs up appears in the in the bottom of the screen. Um,
Yeah, keep them coming. That's
yes.
great to see.
Okay. So you're feeling quite confident. Let's try that out in just a bit. But before we do that, let's think about how these AI apps knew what to draw. So how did the app know what Glasgow looks like? How did it know what a wheelie bin is? Well, it learned what these things look like. So this generative AI app, it was trained with lots of pictures. So its creators trained the tool with millions of pictures. Each one basically had a tag that says what was in it. So it has seen thousands of different items like chairs or steam trains, even bowls of rotting fruit. And because it's seen so many examples before, it's going to be able to create new examples of the same things. But it hasn't just seen one picture of each. It's not just seen one chair or one picture of a steam train. It will have seen thousands or even millions of pictures of the same thing. So it will have seen thousands of pictures of steam trains. So this algorithm, which is the computer program, it looks for what these pictures have in common. It looks for patterns. So we could look for patterns in these two, Kirsty. So I'm looking at these pictures.
Hmm.
All of them have like a big machine in the middle. Is black, sort of. They might have like a circle on the front. That's something that I'm noticing immediately. Are you
Yep.
noticing any patterns, Kirsty?
Yeah, I think most of them are outside actually, Daniel. So you can see the sky, and a lot of them have got lots of smoke and steam coming out of them as well.
Yeah, that's what makes it a steam train. You need steam coming out of the top, don't you? And that's a really good observation about the sky. All of these pictures basically have blue at the very top. Now, if you look at the bottom, the trains are on rails or on these straight lines. That's another thing that all these pictures of steam trains have in common. So when the model has been trained, it notices all of these patterns. And when you give it a prompt to create another steam train, it uses what it's learned from seeing all of these to create something new based on what it's learned. So it's not just copying a picture or trying to recreate one, it makes something totally new. And that's really quite cool.
Now, these are lots of fun to play with, Daniel. But I'm wondering, should we be using AI to create art anyway? Look, I get it. I know it's a powerful and fantastic creative tool. And I know that companies are adding these apps right into our phones and our laptops. In fact, my phone did a software update recently, and now some of these tools are right there for anyone to use.
I think that's quite cool. I think that means that even more people are going to be able to experiment and create art. I think it's good that it's easy to make these things.
But when anyone can use AI to make something amazing, how might that change the way that we think what it means to be creative?
Yeah. Well, in this show, you are going to be our critical thinking judges. So we have got some images to show you, and these are unbelievable images. They are unbelievable because they have been generated using AI apps. And we want to see, can you spot them? Can you see that? How does it make you feel when you find out something has been made using AI? We want to know what you think. So let's get started.
So, for our first challenge, we'll see if you can tell the difference between a portrait created by an artist and one created using AI. So, we asked three creative people to draw a portrait of their pet. So, let's reveal the portraits. So, the first portrait we have is of Inca, the cat. We have Sly, the cat. And finally, we have Percy, the dog.
Okay, Kirsty, there's a lot of creativity on show here. I think there's a lot of artistic talent. But just as a reminder, one of these pet portraits hasn't been created by a human. It has been generated by an AI app. So we want you to look at these closely, look for things that are suspicious, and ask yourself, which of these images is unbelievable? Which one was made using AI?
Yeah, it's time for you to be our critical thinking judges. Which one do you think was made using AI? But importantly, why do you think that? What is your evidence? What have you seen? So you want to tell us in the chat if there's something that you've spotted in these pictures that might make you a little bit suspicious. So submit your evidence in, and remember, if you want a shout out, make sure to include your name and your school, and we'll read it out loud.
Yes. So I can see some of you are typing. There's no rush here. We want descriptive answers, some good answers that we can then discuss, that we can then look at this evidence. So, think about how they've been created. Have they been done on paper? Have they been done on a computer? Have they been done on a tablet? You could make art in all different ways, can't you?
Yeah, Daniel, there was a few people that said that they were creative with painting and drawing and stuff. So it'll be interesting to hear from their artist background. What tools do you think they've used to sort of create these pet portraits? Has it been digital? Has it been hand drawn? What do you think? Can you spot anything that is making you a little bit suspicious? And what is it that you are seeing?
Yeah, I'm going to read out some of the messages that you have sent in. So I can see that Evie and Ashton have said that they are suspicious of Percy because the paper, the background is a bit darker than the other two. It's different, it stands out because of that. That made them suspicious.
So I can see that as well, and I've got another one here that a few people think it's Sly. The Jaguars class at Hayden think that Sly, because the shading doesn't look like real pencil. So that's quite an interesting part
Yeah.
that they've spotted.
I think Sly has been done digitally, so it will look slightly differently. But was it done by a person? I guess that's the real question here.
Yeah. Was it generated or...
Yeah. Neve thinks that Inca is unbelievable because it looks too much like a drawing. Maybe it looks too
Right.
good to be true.
So let's see a few others here.
Antonio, Carter, Matthew, and Eggman also are suspicious of Inca. They think that it looks too realistic, too good.
Yeah. Some people think that Inca is also too good to be true. And then some people think, I think it's Francesca and Lily May, they think that Percy looks too good because it's a stereotypical bulldog. So it's interesting because everybody thinks there's a lot of them are too good to be true.
Yes. Yeah, I'm seeing a really interesting, pretty even split at the moment between these. I think, Kirsty, we should try and get a definitive answer in. So we've heard a bit of evidence about all three of our candidates, of our drawings, our pieces of art. But which one was done with AI? Well, we've got a new question for you to answer on Mentimeter. I want you to vote for which pet portrait you think is unbelievable. So get those votes in now. Have you been convinced by any of the evidence that you heard? Are you sticking with your instinct? Or maybe you've been convinced by something that you've heard. It's time to get your votes in.
Which do you think?
Yeah, this is quite exciting, isn't it, Kirsty? Because I've no idea.
I'm not
don't
sure
know.
which way it's going to go. I'm not sure.
Okay, we've got 20 more seconds and then we're going to close the poll.
Get your answers in. Which one is unbelievable?
Okay, 10 seconds. Last chance to get your answers locked in. Okay. Kirsty, shall we find out who has been voted as unbelievable?
Please.
Okay. Let's find out. So we're going to switch to our Mentimeter. Oh,
look at
Sly has been voted as the most unbelievable pet portrait.
Yep, more than half of people. So they're quite convinced that it's definitely Sly that is the unbelievable portrait here. That's really interesting. But Daniel, were they right? Shall we reveal which one of our pet portraits is unbelievable? Which one was made using AI?
Oh, yeah, let's find out. The suspense is too much. Let's find out who was unbelievable, who was created using AI.
Oh, it was Inca.
It was Inca. Gosh.
Wow.
Yeah. So, Inca the cat is real, but this drawing wasn't done by a human. So the artist, Elspeth, is an illustrator, and she used generative AI tools to create this piece of art. So she used a tool called DALL-E to create it. So that's the same tool that I used to create the sailboat and Kirsty used to create the superhero. But we're going to show you how Elspeth managed to create such a realistic looking picture that got you all fooled. So let's have a look at the prompt. So this is what Elspeth asked for. She said a 6B, so that's a kind of pencil, quite dark strokes, quite a soft lead in it. A 6B pencil image of a black and white fuzzy older cat by a hobby artist, so not too professional, very simple, no shading, no lines, plain, clean background. Okay?
Yep.
Yep. And this is the picture that DALL-E created.
That one looks quite really good.
I think that looks I think that doesn't look quite real. And Elspeth thought it looked too artificial, it looked too perfect, too
Yeah.
realistic. It looks almost like a photo, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, okay, so saying hobby artist made something that was still too good. So Elspeth then gave it another prompt. So she asked this time for a sketch of a fuzzy older cat's face, three-quarter view from a sketchbook, plain background, grayscale, drawn by a child. Very
Okay.
simple, simple style, very few lines, minimalist. Now, she didn't just push the button in and get a picture of a cat here. She's had to use a lot of description, hasn't she? Like, she's had
Yes.
to use a lot of like artistic terms. She's had to think about the composition, three-quarter views, sketchbook, grayscale, minimalist.
She's
She's having to,
emphasizing simple quite a lot as well.
yeah,
Very simple, simple style. It's interesting.
yeah. And this is the picture that the AI tool created. So, yeah, she didn't just push a button. She had to use her skills as an artist to be able to create such a realistic and high quality bit of work there. That's what she had to do to create a good drawing.
Yeah, so there we go. That's the Inca that she made. And Elspeth had to do some work to get that sketch to come out the way that she wanted. She had to use her knowledge and her skills to instruct the AI tool to create a good drawing. So we have a question for you. These portraits here were all created using AI. So, are the people who use AI to make pictures like these artists? So we have a question on your Mentimeter now that's just probably popped up on your screen. Are the people who make AI to make pictures like these artists? We want to hear your opinions, hear your thoughts, and make sure to put in your name and your school, and we can give out some of your thoughts on our stream today. So we'll give you a few minutes to answer that. Maybe discuss it with some of your classes, and then your teachers can pop in as well. Some of the thoughts that you've had.
Yeah, remember, you should tell us why you think the people are or aren't answers as well. So not just a simple yes or no, but why. I want you to explain your decisions, thinking critically.
Getting some answers coming in now, Daniel, as well. Remember to include your name as well, so that we can make sure that we can get your shout out too.
Okay, so you can keep sending them in, but let's start having a look at some of these. So the Jaguars class at Haydenwick, they're saying yes, they are artists, because even though they're not using their own hands to make it, they are still using tools, and art can be lots of different things. Sometimes you aren't using the tool yourself, so they're saying yes. But we've got some people that disagree. So Dylan and Amelia and Jude have said no, it's lazy.
It's the lazy art. That's an interesting term for it, because if you use a computer to create art, you're maybe just using different sort of skills, Daniel, perhaps, than you would if you were physically drawing it. Some people have said that they think they are descriptive people that are typing in the words, and not people that can draw. I wonder if does that still make them an artist or not?
Yeah. So Casey is saying they have to use very artistic language, so they still need to understand the art. So yes. But some other people for the same thing have said no. So Jenna and Adrian and Arya and Helen and Ikraj have said they've put a lot of thought into it, but they didn't create it themselves. So no, they're not artists.
Drove Primary School said it depends. So artists can use AI as well. So anyone can give prompts in AI to generate artwork. So maybe the person is an artist, but they're using AI as the tool to make their new piece. So that's interesting as well. Guess it just depends in that sense. These are really good, brilliant, critical thinking answers, and that's exactly what we're looking for today. So make sure you get them in our chats. These are really good thoughts, Daniel, aren't they?
Yes, I actually want to read more of these, but given it is now past, I think we should move on to our next round. But thank you for such good answers. Keep them coming. So it's time for round 2, challenge 2. We're going to see if you can tell the difference between an original illustration and one generated using AI. So we asked a comic book illustrator called Barat. We asked him to draw some superheroes in his own signature style. Now, Barat is a professional illustrator and an inker, and he does lots of comic books. So he's drawn some famous comics, including The Flash and Batman and Superman. And we really like his style. We love it so much that we're going to try and copy him. So what we've done is we've used an AI tool to generate a superhero in a similar style to Barat's. But we want to know, can you tell the difference between the professional illustrator and the AI copycat? So let's have a look at our 3 superheroes.
Let's have a look, Daniel. So we have superhero A, we have superhero B, and we have superhero C. So again, these are really good, Daniel, to me.
Yes, 2 of these were drawn by the professional inker Barat. 1 of these was generated using an AI tool. So just like last time, we want you to have a close look at these pictures and look for evidence. Things that you think seem a bit suspicious or unbelievable, or might be a giveaway that it wasn't done by a human. And whenever you spot something, well, you should type that into the Mentimeter. You should tell us and we'll share it with the other schools taking part. We've got lots of schools taking part today, so we're going to give shout outs so that we can share all of the thoughts. And then in a couple of minutes time, we'll take a vote to find out which one you think is unbelievable.
So you can submit your answers by going to menti.com and putting in the code below 62330690. Yep, and make sure you submit what is your evidence, what have you spotted, what is suspicious about these images that make you think that one was generated by AI. I can see some answers coming in, which is really great.
Okay, so Neve, Casey, Maisie, and Sophie think that A and C are the real ones, and B is not real. And they think that A and C are both real because you can see the brushstrokes, you can see that they've been sketched. So that's their bit of evidence that they've spotted.
Yeah, I think we've got Savannah and Evie that also say B is the answer because they think it's because it's too good. So they must think that the AI one for that image is too good.
Some people are saying C. So David is saying that it's just a bit too clean. They say it's too fantastic. Too fantastic, that's a good way to describe it. Gemma and Nida and Inya are saying that C looks a bit too futuristic.
There's an interesting point by Sophia and Inya. They say that C is the AI one because the colours are too saturated and the shading is too dark. So that's interesting. They've been looking at the sort of colours of the images and comparing them.
Yeah.
These are really great critical thinking judges here, Daniel. Really good responses in our chat.
Alex thinks that it's A because there's no background on that one, and it looks like it's just been pasted or copied. It doesn't look like it's just a superhero on its own. That's made Alex suspicious of A.
Yeah, I think Drove Primary School has a similar thought to that one, Daniel. Also saying it's A because it's too simple, where it's just that white background behind it. So that might be something that they've spotted.
Yeah. A lot of people have just jumped on to say that I think maybe those comments about the shading, there's some other people that are suspicious of C, again, because of the brush strokes and the shading and the colours being a bit different to the other two.
Interesting, because there's another one, Gracie and Alexa, that think that B is the one because the colours don't look drawn. So they're also looking at the colours, but they are seeing it in B's one instead. These are really interesting.
Yeah.
Good points that people are coming through with.
Yeah, this is great evidence. So let's use that evidence. Let's take a vote to find out which one you think is unbelievable. So on your screens now, you can now vote for which superhero you think is unbelievable. Do you think it's A or B or C? So we're going to give you a minute to discuss in your class and get that vote in.
Again, I'm not sure which way this one's going to go, Daniel. Are they going to vote which one is AI, A, B, or C? I don't know.
No, me neither.
It's exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing what the thoughts are.
Yes, so 30 seconds to finish your discussions and get those votes cast. Okay, get your last votes in. We've got less than 10 seconds left. Okay.
Okay.
Everyone's cast their votes, Kirsty?
Locked in.
Yes.
Okay. What have they decided, Daniel? Which one do they think is unbelievable?
Okay,
Which
let's take a
one?
look. C.
Ooh. By quite a margin as well. They think C is the unbelievable one. So 69% of you think that it is C that has been made by AI. Interesting. But
Yeah.
were you right? Let's reveal which of our superheroes was made using AI.
Okay, here we go again.
Oh.
You were feeling quite confident at the start. Was that confidence well placed? Here we go.
Yeah!
Good job, everyone. It was C. You were right.
They did it. That was really good. Obviously, really good critical thinking judges there, being able to spot that C was the AI one, Daniel. Well done.
Yes, well done. I think that evidence was really well observed. And I think you made a really good case for why this one was the one using AI. You managed to convince the other people watching. So those of you that said C and gave some good reasons, great work. So we've seen some good drawings here. A lot of people are saying that they were too good or too perfect. Now, what that's led to is lots of people using generative AI to create characters for books or role-playing games and comics. But are these pictures different from something drawn by a talented human? Well, what we did was we asked Barat, the illustrator, what he thinks of these superheroes and what he thinks of them. And what Barat said was that these AI-generated images, they don't have the same thought put into them as one made by people. So when you prompt an AI app, it's not really thinking about it in the same way that a human artist would. It just generates an image based on some existing ones. So because someone hasn't thought about the character, there might be things that are a bit random in it. So if we look at this character here, C, it's got some circles on him and some straps, but we don't really know what the purpose of them is. You know, what do they do? And he says a human illustrator would only put things there that need to be. There would be a purpose behind absolutely everything in that picture. And there's some things here on this superhero that I'm not quite sure what they're doing. They don't maybe have a purpose, you know, like why is the strap there? What are these illuminated circles? It's a bit mysterious. Some people said futuristic. I think
Yeah.
that's something that happens a lot in AI generated images. So Barat thinks that because an artist hasn't put any sort of real thought into these pictures, they might not feel as special or as meaningful when people want artwork that really matters to them. So that's what Barat thinks. Barat thinks that these pictures are different to something created by a human, and you've just demonstrated that you can spot that.
So we've got a question for you now. So if AI apps can make art that looks like Barat's, what do you think that could mean for his artwork and his career? What impact might that have on his career? So, in the Mentimeter again, you can submit some of your thoughts about this. What do you think that could mean for Barat and his artwork if people can use AI to generate images like his? Remember to put your name as well so that we can give you a shout out too.
Yeah, so do you think it's going to have a good effect on his career? Do you think it's going to have a bad effect? Do you think it's going to make changes? Do you think it's going to make no difference? Well, we want to hear from you, so have a discussion in your class, and then when you're ready, you can type in your answers. I can see people are really thinking about some of these answers that we're getting. These are
Yeah.
great. So in about 30 seconds, we'll start reading out some of the answers that you have sent in.
Yeah. What impact will this have on Barat? What do you think it could mean for his artwork and his career? Will it have a positive impact? Will it have a negative impact? Will it have no impact at all? What do you think?
Okay, let's have a look at some of the comments that you've been sending. So I can
Okay.
see here some pupils at Trego's Primary think that it could be a different career. It might change his career because you have to put your imagination into the AI work.
Okay. Yeah. Um, we have just reading some of the other ones here as it go through. These are all really great points that you are bringing out on this Mentimeter as well. So we have the Francesca and Lily from Tragos as well. They think that it could have two sides to it. So it could mean that more people like his art because it could mean that maybe they could maybe make more of it, but also it could mean it could get hate as well. So maybe there's a positive and a negative side for that one.
Neve, Casey, Maisie, and Sophie think that he might lose his job because people would start using those superheroes and AI ones and not real drawings. They wouldn't go to Barat, they would generate their own ones, and I think that would be bad for his career. I think that's a really good point. At the moment, if you want a picture of a superhero, you have to pay someone to draw it for you. Well,
Yeah.
what if you didn't have to? Maybe some people wouldn't.
Yeah, there's I think a few people worried about Barat and that impact of his job as well. So that he could maybe lose his job or his popularity because AI can publish work that's maybe faster or has the same sort of effect or even better maybe than he can do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's quite an interesting one.
The
Um,
the Jaguars at Hayden Wick, they think that it might help artists because it might give them some new ideas,
mm,
but it could also have a negative effect because other people might start stealing his ideas.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, maybe people could mistake his art for AI and it would be a bad effect on his career. And people might keep reassuring people which is his art and which is not. Um,
Yeah, one more that I've got here that I think is quite a good astute comment. So Inya, Nida, and Gemma have said that people might not be able to tell the difference when it's his, or they might accuse him of using AI, and that would have a bad effect in his career. And he'd have to keep reassuring people that he
that
drew
it
them
was him.
himself. Yeah, that he wasn't just using an AI tool. So yeah, I think that's a really good, thoughtful bit of thinking that you've done and that you've shared with us. So I think we've got lots of different opinions here, and I think a lot of you realised that it's quite a complicated topic. And for
Hmm.
some things, it might be good, and for some things, it might be bad. But I think it is going to change things, isn't it, Kirsty?
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be evolving as we go forward, and yeah, we'll see what the impact that does have on artists as we go forward, and we'll definitely share maybe some of these responses back to Barat and let him know. But thank you so much for being our critical thinking judges there and submitting in your thoughts about this subject.
Kirsty, we've got time for one last round, I think. Shall we
Yeah,
move on to the third round, the third
let's go for
challenge?
it. So it's the last challenge. And you've probably heard the phrase, the camera never lies. Well, with AI apps, this isn't really the case because AI apps can be really good at generating realistic images. So, what happens when you generate a photo of a moment that didn't happen, or even of a person that doesn't exist?
Yes. Well, we have got two photos here, but there's going to be a twist. One of the photos I'm about to reveal was generated using AI, and the human that's in the picture, well, they're not real. They don't exist. So let's take a look at these two photos that we've got. So we've got Amy and we've got Mary. Now, Kirsty, one of these people doesn't exist. One of these
Daniel,
was generated with AI.
no, I don't believe you. That they look so realistic. Oh my gosh. I don't know. They look too good. They are so realistic. And you're telling me one of them is AI generated.
Yes, one of these was AI generated. So you're going to have to think really carefully. You're going to have to be really precise, critical thinkers here. You're going to have to really dig into these pictures and look for evidence. And we want you to do the same thing again. We want you to look at the pictures and tell us if you find anything strange or suspicious about one of them. Because one of these pictures was taken by a real photographer of a real person, and one of them was generated using AI.
Yeah, so tell us in the Mentimeter, what unbelievable evidence have you uncovered? Tell us the photo. What was it? Is it Amy or is it Mary? And what do you think is unbelievable about it? And remember to put in your name and school so that we can give you a shout out. So take a close look at those images, see what you think. We'll give you a bit of time here to think about it. Some people are just saying the name, but we want to find out what is it that you've spotted. Why do you think it's Amy? Why do you think it's Mary?
Kirsty, I can see that we've got some good answers coming in here. I'm looking forward to digging into these.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Some of you are looking at very subtle little details in these pictures.
Maybe you could have a look at the different ways to approach this challenge. So maybe there's, are you looking at it from a technical point of view? How is it photographed? Or do you have some sort of other feeling towards it that's maybe not as technical? Is there something in it that just makes you feel that one is generated using AI? It's interesting.
Yeah, let's dig into some of these. answers. So Ava, Evie, and Xander, and Prashika have said Amy because her skin is really too smooth and too shiny, and it doesn't look like it's real.
Okay, and we've got Jude, Dillian, and Amelia think it's Mary because she looks perfectly imperfect.
Antonio thinks it's Mary because you can see a reflection on her skin, on her cheeks, but there's no reflection in her glasses.
Interesting. Let's see, who else have we got here? We have... So Alex thinks it's Amy because they have no wrinkles and her eyebrows are different, and that's from Morden Primary and Nursery School.
Yeah, Neve, Theo, and Eleanor think that Mary has more detail on her face, which makes her more realistic, more real.
Okay. And then Lily and Francesca think it's Amy because her hair is perfect and she has a shine on her face, so her expression is perfect. It's interesting that people are spotting like this sort of shines and reflections on both of the photographs for like different reasons.
Yeah, I've got the answer from Morden here. They think that Amy is unbelievable because she's quite glowy, very bright. But then there's some people in the class that think Mary because the reflection in her eyes just seems a bit strange. They're not sure. This is hard, Kirsty.
Yeah, this is hard. This is the hardest one. Yeah, I think these images are so realistic, and they are tricky to spot.
I think we should maybe force a vote on the issue.
Yeah,
I think we should maybe
I'd like
run
to see.
a poll. So again, we're going to give you just under a minute to get your votes cast. Do you think it's Amy or Mary who is unbelievable?
Which one is AI, Amy or Mary?
Yes, so I can see the answers are flying in. 20 of you have submitted them already. 25 now. The numbers just continuing to go up and up and
Exciting.
up as you vote.
Again, I'm not sure which way this is going to go either.
No.
There's been evidence for both sides. So, yeah, excited to find out here what the consensus is from the group, from our critical thinking judges here.
Okay, we've got 10 seconds to go. Okay.
Okay.
Kirsty, the
Yep.
votes are locked. You have voted for Amy
Amy.
as being the most unbelievable. So it's 75-25. So 3/4 of you, 3 out of 4 people, have said Amy, and 1 out of 4 people have said Mary.
Mary.
Well,
Daniel, I'm looking forward to finding out if we are right.
yes, me too. Shall we find out?
Yes, please.
Okay, Kirsty.
Oh, I'm nervous.
Me too.
Okay.
Me too.
No!
What?
Oh, wait! No way! It's Mary! Mary is AI!
Kirsty,
Daniel.
it's unbelievable.
Daniel, that is amazing! That is unbelievable. She looks so realistic.
I feel like I've seen Mary before. I can believe that she exists.
I'm sure I've seen Mary before as well. I'm sure I've seen her down the shop.
So how is this photo so realistic? You know, how did this happen? Well, generative AI is getting really good at creating realistic looking photos of people. And some of these models, they have been trained only on photos of people. So what that means is they can create pictures that are very, very realistic. And there's been some research done into this. So some researchers at the University of Aberdeen, they did some surveys and they found that people couldn't tell the difference between a real face and one made by one of these specialist AI models. So it's not you. no one can tell. It's a
Yeah.
basically impossible task because these models are so good and so realistic, everyone is fooled by them.
Yeah, these portraits are incredible, Daniel. Really realistic. So we've got some here that's been generated using AI. But how comfortable are you that we have technology that can make photos of a moment that didn't happen or of people that didn't exist? Here's a question that I want you to answer. Do you think you should have to tell people if a photo was made using AI, or is it okay just to use it? Should we have to tell people if a photo was made using AI? So we can give you a minute or so to answer that on our Mentimeter. We have our question coming up, and remember, you can add your name in as well.
I think this is a really interesting question, Kirsty.
Yes,
Because, yeah, because you probably wouldn't know if no one told you, would
but
you?
I wouldn't know with
No.
Mary if that was AI. It looks too realistic for me to
Yeah.
be able to spot that. But the
But
question
then,
is, should people have to tell me that that was or not?
now I'm thinking about if someone has used something like Photoshop to airbrush someone and maybe like remove blemishes on the skin,
Mhm.
people
Which
don't
I've
tell. Yeah,
definitely done. I've
yeah.
definitely done that.
People don't tell one another if they've done that, have they?
No. But then are just the small changes okay not to tell everybody? But if I generated a whole new picture of someone, should I have to tell you then that it's an AI image?
Mm-hmm.
Guess
Is
that's
it
where
different?
yeah. What makes that different, I wonder? We've got some answers coming in.
Yes. So,
I like Evie and Evie Grace saying no because it would be interesting. Then it would be interesting. Like not telling anybody, that would be quite an interesting
yeah.
thing.
Mia, Emmy, and Kaylee have said sometimes. Savannah and EVS have said yes, it's good. David said, nah, people won't really care. Hmm.
Yeah, some people say sometimes as well. I guess
Yeah.
maybe depends on the circumstances for that one.
Jenna, Helen, Arya, and Ikraj have said, well, sometimes you can already tell. So you probably shouldn't need to add a disclaimer because people might already be able to tell. But I think sometimes it's very difficult to tell. I think it was really hard to
Yeah,
tell with Amy and Mary.
yeah, you definitely couldn't tell with Mary. Um, Cosby says no, only if it was um inappropriate. So maybe the middle, if it was in a way that you had to sort of disclose it, maybe.
Yeah. There's
So
one come in here where someone said that they watched a film with an animated monkey and no one told them that that wasn't real. They just kind of knew because they saw it. Hmm.
I've seen that film as well, Daniel. But yeah, I think with that one, you could tell that it wasn't a real person because it was like a monkey. But if it was a character like Mary in the film, would they have to tell me then? Because that would be harder to spot.
Yeah.
I would think.
So I'm going to read one last one out. We've not got time
Okay.
to read out all of the messages, but there's lots of very good thinking going on here, and lots of you have thought very carefully about your answers. Drove Primary have said, you should always be honest. And
That's
I
a nice
think
one
that's a
to
good
end it on.
approach to take. So, if you think it might fool someone, you should probably tell them. But if you think it's easy to tell, then maybe it doesn't matter quite so much. But yeah, it's a difficult question, isn't it?
Mhm.
Requires a lot of thought. So, Kirsty, we're coming towards the end of our show today. What have we done?
Yeah. So we've had 3 rounds of drawings, illustrations, and photographs judged by hundreds of you. So thank you so much for taking part. What a great show we've had today. Daniel, I was certainly impressed by some of the creations that I saw today. Were you?
Yeah, I was so impressed by that picture of Mary at the end. I
I
can't stop
still,
thinking about it.
no, that'll be in my head all day, I think, for sure.
So, we would love to know what you thought about our show. this morning. So on your screens now, there will be some feedback questions, and it'd be great if you could answer these on your devices. But thank you for being our critical thinking judges. I've been Daniel.
I've been Kirsty.
And this has been Unbelievably
Unbelievably
Talented.
talented.